If you are a fan of Universal Orlando, if you are a fan of Halloween, if you are a fan of Halloween Horror Nights, this is the video for you. If you've never been and you want to go, but you don't know what to expect or what to do, then this is the video for you. Come on. So if you're unfamiliar with Halloween Horror Nights, it's a Halloween event. This is its 31st year here at Universal Orlando. Definitely one of, if not the best Halloween event in the country. 10 haunted houses, 5 scare zones, 2 shows, food, drinks, you name it. Halloween Horror Nights is the event. So Halloween Horror Nights takes place in the Universal Orlando Studios Park. There were a few years where they spread the event between Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, but now it's all back in Studios Park. Maybe one of these days they'll extend it over, or possibly maybe they'll do something with Epic Universe once it opens. Halloween Horror Nights runs from early September through Halloween every year, and it is a not to be missed event. This year's Halloween Horror Nights runs on select nights between September 2nd and October 31st, and the event runs from 6:30 p.m. until 2 a.m. There's several different ticket options, and we're going to go over every single one of them. Single night tickets range from $73.99 to $104.99. There's also express passes, which allow you to skip the line. Well, not skip the line, but get in a much shorter line. Those run from $109.99 to $189, depending upon the night. The closer you get to Halloween and the closer you are to a Friday or Saturday, the more expensive those tickets get. There's also a Behind the Screams ticket where you can unmask the horror from $79.99 to $129.99. This is a daytime VIP tour where you can get a lights on look at 3 or 6 houses. There's also a scare actor dining experience at Louis' Italian Restaurant. $54.99. You get to dine with some scare actors, plenty of picture opportunities, and maybe some spooks. There's also a Scream Early ticket for $35. Now this is for a day guest who's either A, not an annual pass holder, or B, doesn't have a day ticket but has a ticket for Halloween Horror Nights. This Scream Early ticket gets you into the park at 3 o'clock and allows you time to get into one of the holding areas for Stay and Scream. So let's talk about what Stay and Scream is and what that Scream Early ticket gets you. So Stay and Scream allows you entry into the park before the other Halloween Horror Night guests arrive. So the great thing is that you don't have to purchase an extra add-on to get Halloween Horror Night early entry. There are actually several ways to get it. Purchasing both a Universal ticket and a Halloween Horror Nights ticket. So in other words, you have a day ticket, either by an annual pass or you purchased a one-day or multi-day Universal pass. And then you also have a Halloween Horror Nights ticket. You can do Stay and Scream. If you have an annual pass and have a Halloween Horror Nights ticket, you can do Stay and Scream. Or you can be a Halloween Horror Nights ticket holder and not be a day guest holder, and you could purchase the Scream Early ticket for $35. So what does this mean? So Stay and Scream allows you to enter one of 3 different holding areas. Last year there was one over by the Mummy. They call that the Finnegan's holding area, where you can actually go inside Finnegan's, get drinks, get food while you're waiting. There's the Central Park / Springfield area, and then there's one over by the Today Show Cafe and the Hello Kitty store. You have to be inside the holding area prior to 5 p.m. when they close the park. Halloween Horror Nights does not start till 6 or 6:30. If you are in one of the holding pens, then you will get first stab at all of the Halloween Horror Nights houses. You said it is 4:45. The park closes at 5 o'clock. And then they will probably release us about 5:45 to the house. All right, 5:25, and they are leading us out into the actual queue. 5:33, we're filling in the queue. There's the house over in the distance. All right, and here we go. At 5:43, they're starting to let the express people in first, and then the general line. Also, and I'll link to this video down below, the RIP tour, which Jen and I did last year. The RIP tour starts at $279.99 and goes up to $399.99 per person for a semi-private group. If you want a private group, you have to call and get those rates. That one's going to be a little bit more. Now, what does that money get you? The short answer is that it gets you front of the line access to every single house. It gets you pre-dinner hors d'oeuvres. It gets you a private bar midway through your tour. And you get to experience it without having to wait in line for anything. Now, RIP tour, that cost I just gave you, does not include your admission to Halloween Horror Nights. So you still have to have a separate admission. So say that you spent $80 on your Halloween Horror Nights and you're going on a Saturday night close to Halloween, then you're at $470 per person. Is it worth it? It's up to you. The answer will vary by person. If you have one night to experience Halloween Horror Nights and you have the money to spend, absolutely worth it, 100% worth it. So Halloween Horror Nights has 10 haunted houses, 5 scare zones, and usually around 6 attractions that are open, along with food and lots of alcohol. Let's talk about the 4 houses that we currently already know about.
The first one is Universal Monsters Legends Collide. If you thought one Universal monster was scary, how about 3? Better summon your Scream Squad, because you're about to get caught in the middle of an epic battle between the Wolfman, Dracula, and the Mummy, together for the first time. Their mission? To find the amulet that will break the curse, and they'll destroy anyone who gets in their way. The next house is the Weekend After Hours Nightmare. Prepare to enter the macabre mind of the Weekend in this haunted house as he stalks your squad through the surreal nightmare of his after-hours music, a slasher carving a smile at an otherworldly rave, bandage maniacs performing extreme plastic surgery, and a grotesque mannequin masquerade. His nightmare is now yours. Also, we have the Horrors of Blumhouse. Step inside a new double feature of Blumhouse Horror. Your Scream Squad will find itself trapped between a frantic teen and the ruthless serial killer she swapped bodies with, and freaking. Then you'll try to make a desperate escape from the dark basement of the Grabber before you become his latest victim in the terrifying The Black Phone. And then finally, the last house that we know about currently is Halloween. Gather your friends and visit Haddonfield, Illinois, where Michael Myers is about to don his mask and embark on his first brutal spree. Silent, merciless, relentless. He's the embodiment of pure evil. You don't want to go alone as you go back to where it all began. This year, step into the original 1978 horror classic, Halloween.
So there are 5 scare zones. We don't know the themes of any of the scare zones yet, but the scare zones are typically always in the same place. The first scare zone you're going to come to is in Production Central, right as you enter the park, straight ahead of you. If you were to take a right on, go towards Hollywood, the next scare zone is going to be right there on Hollywood in front of the Bourne Stuntacular. You'll continue on that direction, and the second one is where Hollywood turns into the junction between Springfield and Woody Woodpecker Kids Zone. The next scare zone is in San Francisco, and then the last scare zone is in New York. Unfortunately, there is not a way to navigate the park without running into one of these scare zones. However, if you walk on the sidewalks on the outer edges of the scare zones, not to say that you won't be scared or that the scare actors won't mess with you, but you can put your back up against the wall and see everything coming your direction. And so it is the scaredy cat way to get through the scare zone. And then talking about the attractions that are available during the event, I don't know if this will be the list this year, but this was the list last year. Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, Transformers, Revenge of the Mummy, Escape from Gringotts, Men in Black, and The Simpsons were all open during the event. There are also 2 shows that happen during Halloween Horror Nights. One takes place in the main lagoon last year called Marathon of Mayhem. It is a water fountain projection fireworks show. And the second last year was called Nightmare Fuel. We don't know what's coming this year, but it will take place in the old closed down Fear Factor stage. That one is a stage show. You have to get in line early. to get in and get a seat, because they do fill up fast. All right, and so just to mention about parking during the event. So parking is $27 per car and $60 for preferred parking, at least until 10 p.m. when parking becomes free. The only exceptions to this is if you are Premier Pass holders get free Prime parking, Preferred Pass members get free regular parking, and Power Pass members get 50% off of regular parking. Now, Jack the Clown was the mascot for last year's, well, one of the mascots for last year's event. We don't know who the mascot is for this year's Halloween Horror Nights 31, but last year it was Jack, and so they had an experience called the Jacked Up Experience, which took place at the Cabana Bay Hotel. It was for Universal Hotel guests only, and it was a walkthrough experience, photo op sort of deal, but it was something that was exclusive to hotel guests, so an added benefit of staying on Universal Hotel property while attending the Halloween Horror Night event. So look for that announcement to come out soon. Again, we've only got 30 days until the event, so all will be revealed soon. So if I'm going to give a 1 to 10 score on the entire event, I'm going to say an 8. If I give the houses a 1 to 10, I'm going to say 8, because there are some really good jump scares. There are a bunch that just kind of, yeah, but I enjoy the detailing in the house. So between the detailing and the scares and the jump scares and the dark and the fog and the lights, I'd give it an 8. Scare zones, out of 10, I'm going to give those about a 4, because, you know, there's only so much you can do out in the middle of the street. You can see the people coming. Now, every once in a while, there'll be a good jump scare. Somebody will come up behind you and get you good, or somebody will come kind of lurching at you with a chainsaw. Those are fun moments. Let's also talk about merchandise, because merchandise is important. So leading up to the event, the place where you can get all your merchandise is at the Five and Dime, which is also the exit of the Born Stuntacular. So the Five and Dime has all the release merchandise as they release things leading up to the event. During the event, you can get a ton of merchandise in the Production Central Universal Orlando main studio store as you come into the park on the left. Also, they will still have it in the Five and Dime. And then in the New York section of the park, they have the Tribute store. That is your #1 spot for merch. They have everything that you can imagine in that spot. So if you're coming to Halloween Horror Nights and you want to shop for merch, Tribute store is where you're going to go. So there's only one answer to the question, should I go to Halloween Horror Nights or not? In my opinion, that answer is yes. So I'll see you in the fog. If never lost, then never found. So go get lost.